Sometimes the loneliest place isn't an empty room. It's lying next to someone who doesn't see you anymore. Ariana spent 2 years invisible in her own marriage. Her millionaire husband chose work over her every single time, until she put on a red bikini in Miami, and he saw what he was about to lose. 17 missed calls, 1 desperate flight, a marriage hanging by a thread. Can you change for someone after you've already broken them? Hey loves, comment where you're watching from. I love seeing you here, and if you're new, subscribe. Your support means the world. Let's grow together. Ariana Brooks stood at the kitchen island, staring at the coffee maker like it owed her money. Thing was sputtering. Same sound it made every morning for the past 3 years. Eric kept saying he'd replace it, kept saying a lot of things. Outside, somebody's lawn service was already going at 7:30 on a Saturday. The smell of cut grass mixed with the lavender candle she'd burned last night trying to relax hadn't worked. She scratched at the edges around her hairline, needed a touch-up bad, and realized she was still wearing the same bonnet she'd slept in. Again. The townhouse in Cascade was quiet. Too quiet for a Saturday morning when your husband was supposed to be home. Eric's car was in the driveway, but that didn't mean anything anymore. He could be upstairs in his office on a call with Tokyo or Frankfurt, or wherever the hell his attention was this week. 31 years old, and Ariana was starting to understand what her mama meant when she said, "Loneliness hits different when you're married." Her phone buzzed on the counter. Tasha. Of course. "Girl, you up?" Ariana typed back with one hand, while pouring coffee that smelled like it had been sitting too long. Unfortunately, 3 dots appeared immediately. "We still on for brunch." Keisha's already asking what time she looked at the stairs. Wondered if Eric even remembered she was going out today. Wondered if he'd notice if she didn't come home. Noon. The place in Old Fourth Ward bet. "Wear something cute. We're taking pictures." Ariana set the phone down and took a sip of coffee. Burnt. She drank it anyway. The house was beautiful. She'd give Eric that. He'd bought it 2 years into their marriage, back when he still asked her opinion on things. Crown molding, hardwood floors, the kitchen island she'd specifically requested because she thought they'd cook together on weekends. The granite countertop was cold under her palms. She couldn't remember the last time they'd cooked anything. Upstairs, she could hear the faint sound of Eric's voice. Conference call. On a Saturday at 8 in the morning. She'd stopped counting how many Saturday mornings started like this. Ariana walked to the fridge, opened it, stared at the leftover Thai food from Thursday that neither of them had touched, the milk that was probably about to turn, the vegetables she'd bought with the intention of making something healthy. Good intentions everywhere in this house, no follow-through. Her reflection caught in the stainless steel fridge door. 21 years old when they met. 31 now. A decade. She looked the same deep brown skin, same full lips, same eyes that used to light up when he walked in a room. Now they just looked tired. The worst part wasn't the loneliness. It was that she'd gotten used to it. She grabbed her phone and scrolled through Instagram while the coffee went cold in her hand. Tasha had posted a selfie from her morning run, edges laid, skin glowing, caption about self-love and boundaries. Keisha had shared a meme about toxic productivity, and there, 3 posts down, was a memory from 4 years ago. Ariana and Eric at Piedmont Park. His arm around her waist, both of them laughing at something she couldn't remember anymore. She'd been wearing a yellow sundress. He'd taken the day off work. They'd gotten ice cream and walked around the park for hours, talking about everything and nothing. When did that stop? When did he stop seeing her? "You're up." Ariana nearly dropped her phone. Eric was standing at the bottom of the stairs in his usual Saturday outfit. Dark jeans, white t-shirt, bare feet. 39 years old, and the man still looked like he'd walked out of a cologne ad. 6'2", lean but solid. Dark hair that was starting to show grey at the temples. Blue eyes that used to make her forget her own name. Now they just made her sad. "Yeah," she said. "Coffee." "I'm good." He walked to the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water. "I've got a call at 9. It's Saturday." "I know what day it is, Ariana." There it was. The edge in his voice, the impatience. Like she was interrupting something important by existing in the same room. She set her coffee cup down carefully. "I'm going to brunch with Tasha and Keisha." "Okay." He was already checking his phone. At noon. Okay. In Old Fourth Ward. He looked up, finally. Do you need something? I need you to care. No, I'm good. Eric studied her for a second, really looked at her, and for a moment she thought maybe he'd say something. Ask her how she slept. Tell her she looked pretty even though she was wearing old pajamas and a bonnet. Anything. Instead, he nodded. Have fun. He was halfway up the stairs before she could respond. Ariana stood there listening to his footsteps fade, listening to the door to his office click shut. The AC kicked on with a rattle. The coffee maker beeped, reminding her it was time to descale it. Again. She picked up her phone and texted Tasha back. Make it 11:30. I need to get out of this house. The shower was too hot, but Ariana didn't adjust it. She stood under the water until her skin felt tight, until the steam fogged up the mirror, until she couldn't tell if her face was wet from the shower or from something else. When did it start? When did Eric stop touching her like he meant it? When did his kisses become automatic? His I love you sound like items on a checklist? She shampooed her hair, the good stuff from the beauty supply store on Cascade that cost too much but worked, and tried not to think about the last time they'd had sex. 3 weeks? 4? It had been late, both of them half asleep, functional and forgettable. Afterward, he'd rolled over and checked his phone. Ariana rinsed the shampoo out and reached for the conditioner. Her hands were shaking. She was 31 years old, married to a man who looked at her like she was wallpaper, and she was shaking in her own shower because she couldn't remember the last time he'd made her feel wanted. No, that was a lie. She could remember. Their anniversary. 8 months ago. He'd taken her to some expensive restaurant in Buckhead, the kind with cloth napkins and waiters who described every dish like it was a work of art. He'd held her hand across the table, told her she looked beautiful, and for 2 hours she'd felt like maybe things could go back to the way they were. Then his phone rang. Some emergency with a client in Frankfurt. He'd taken the call right there at the table, his hand slipping away from hers, his attention gone before dessert arrived. She'd sat there alone, wearing the black dress she'd bought specifically for him, watching him talk business, while their waiter cleared the plates with a look that said, I've seen this before. Ariana turned off the water and stood there dripping, staring at the tiles Eric had picked out because they were investment-grade porcelain. Everything in this house was investment-grade, everything except their marriage. She dried off and walked to the closet. Their closet, technically, though Eric's side was always organized and hers was always a little chaotic. Pulled out jeans, a fitted white tee, her denim jacket. Tasha said, wear something cute. This would have to do. Her edges were definitely a problem. She'd been putting off going to the salon because the thought of sitting in that chair for 4 hours while Eric sent her texts about when she'd be home made her want to scream. But she smoothed them down with edge control and a brush, slicked her hair back into a low bun, and told herself it was fine. Her reflection looked back at her from the full-length mirror. Brown skin that glowed even when she felt dead inside. Full lips that used to smile more. Body that Eric used to worship and now barely noticed. She wasn't vain, but she knew she was beautiful. Other men knew it too. She saw the way they looked at her at the grocery store, at Target, at the gas station, the way they held doors a little longer, smiled a little warmer. Eric didn't look at her at all. She grabbed her purse and her phone. Checked the time. 11. She could leave early, drive slow, maybe stop for better coffee. As she walked down the stairs, she could hear Eric's voice from his office, still on the call, or maybe a different call. Did it matter? Ariana grabbed her keys from the bowl by the door, the ceramic bowl they'd bought together in Savannah 3 years ago, back when they still took trips that weren't for his work. Her hand hovered over the doorknob. She could go upstairs, knock on his door, tell him she was leaving, see if he'd look up from his laptop long enough to kiss her goodbye. But she already knew how that would go. So she opened the door and walked out into the June heat that hit like a wall, into the morning that smelled like fresh-cut grass and somebody's barbecue starting early. She got in her car, a black Lexus SUV that Eric had bought her for her 30th birthday because it was safe and practical, and sat there for a minute with her hands on the steering wheel. The garage door was open. She could see Eric's Mercedes clean and perfect as always. Could see the bikes they'd bought during lockdown that neither of them ever rode. could see the boxes of Christmas decorations they'd stopped putting up 2 years ago, because what was the point? Ariana started the car. The Bluetooth connected automatically and started playing the last thing she'd been listening to, Ezie. Good Days. The irony wasn't lost on her. She backed out of the driveway and didn't look back at the house, didn't wonder if Eric was watching from the window, didn't let herself hope he'd notice she was gone. The drive to Old Fourth Ward was 30 minutes with traffic. She took the long way through Cascade, past the houses where people were washing cars and watering lawns and doing normal Saturday things, past the Publix where she did the grocery shopping every week, past the nail salon where she used to get her toes done, before she decided spending 2 hours there felt like wasting time she could be spending trying to save her marriage. How do you save something that's already gone? Her phone buzzed in the cup holder. She glanced down at a red light. Tasha again. Keisha's already there. She ordered mimosas. Plural. Ariana smiled. First real smile of the morning. On my way. The light turned green. Someone behind her honked before she even had time to accelerate. Atlanta drivers. She moved forward, merging onto the interstate, letting the city blur past her window. She thought about Eric upstairs in his office, probably still on that call, probably not even realizing she'd left. Thought about the last time he'd asked her how her day was and actually listened to the answer. Thought about the last time they'd laughed together, really laughed, the kind that made your stomach hurt. Nothing came to mind. At a stoplight near Piedmont, a guy in the car next to her was staring. She could see him out of the corner of her eye. When she glanced over, he smiled. Not creepy, just interested. She looked away, but part of her, and the part that was tired of being invisible in her own marriage, felt something. Not interest, not really, just acknowledgement. Someone saw her, even if it was a stranger at a stoplight who she'd never see again. The light changed. She drove. By the time she pulled into the parking lot of the restaurant, her chest felt tight. Tasha and Keisha were already sitting at an outdoor table, mimosas in hand, laughing about something. They looked happy. Free. Ariana sat in her car for a minute, watching them through the windshield. When was the last time she'd felt like that? Her phone buzzed. She looked down, expecting Tasha. It was Eric. Client called. Have to jump on another meeting. Not sure when I'll be done. She stared at the text, waited to see if there was more. A have fun or love you or literally anything, nothing. Ariana locked her phone and got out of the car. The mimosas were cold. Tasha spotted her first. There she is. Ariana navigated through the outdoor tables, weaving past a family with 2 kids who were already sticky with syrup, past a couple who looked like they were on a first date, all nervous energy and careful smiles. The restaurant was one of those places that looked good on Instagram. Exposed brick, string lights, even though it was noon. Plants everywhere like they were trying to bring the outside in. Girl, you look stressed. Keisha stood up to hug her, smelling like cocoa butter and the perfume she always wore too much of. Mimosa, now. It's not even noon, Ariana said, but she was already reaching for the glass. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Tasha pushed the drink closer. And based on that text you sent, you need it. The mimosa was cold and sweet and exactly what she needed. Ariana took a long sip and let the bubbles settle in her chest, replacing the tightness that had been there all morning. So, Keisha leaned forward, chin in her hands. What did he do now? Who said he did anything? Ariana. We've been friends since Clark Atlanta. I know your face. That was the problem with having friends who'd known you since you were 19. They remembered who you used to be. They could see when you were pretending. Ariana set the glass down and watched the condensation drip onto the table. He's on a call, on a Saturday morning. And when I told him I was leaving, he barely looked up. That man. Tasha shook her head, her box braids swaying. I swear to God. It's like I'm furniture, Ariana continued. The words were coming now, the ones she'd been holding in. Like I'm just there, in the house he bought, driving the car he picked out, living the life he designed, and I'm supposed to be grateful. Are you? Keisha asked quietly. Ariana looked at her. Keisha was the one who always asked the hard questions. The one who'd told her 2 years ago that Eric was married to his work before he was married to her. The one who'd been right. I don't know anymore. A waiter appeared, young, probably in college, name tag that said Josh. "You're ready to order?" They ordered food Ariana knew she wouldn't eat. Avocado toast for Tasha, chicken and waffles for Keisha, a salad for her because that's what she always got. Safe, predictable, like everything else in her life. When Josh left, Tasha reached across the table and grabbed Ariana's hand. "How long has it been like this?" "Like what?" "Don't play. How long has Eric been treating you like you're optional?" The word hit different. Optional. Like she was a feature he could upgrade or remove. Like she wasn't the woman who'd supported him through business school, who'd moved to Atlanta when he got the job, who'd put her own career on pause because he said it was temporary. 3 years ago, Ariana had been a graphic designer with her own clients, her own income, her own identity. Now she did freelance work from home, when Eric didn't need her to entertain clients or attend functions, or be the perfect wife in the perfect house. "I don't know," she said finally. "Maybe always. Maybe I just didn't want to see it." Keisha made a sound in her throat. "That man better be glad I like you because I would have told him about himself years ago." "He's not a bad person," Ariana heard herself say. And that was true. Eric wasn't cruel. He paid the bills, kept the fridge stocked, never raised his voice. He just wasn't there, not really, not in the ways that mattered. "Girl, nobody said he was bad." Tasha squeezed her hand before letting go. "We're saying he's neglectful. There's a difference." The food arrived faster than Ariana expected. Josh set the plates down with a smile that lingered a little too long on her face. She noticed. Tasha definitely noticed. "Boy, move along," Keisha said, waving him away. "We got things to discuss." When he left, Tasha pointed her fork at Ariana. "See? That's what I'm talking about. That child looked at you like you were dessert." "He's like 22. So? Point is, men see you. Eric needs to remember he's not the only one with eyes." Ariana picked at her salad. The lettuce was already wilting in the heat. "It's not about other men." "Maybe it should be," Keisha said. "Keisha, I'm just saying." She cut into her waffle with more force than necessary. "When's the last time Eric made you feel beautiful? When's the last time he took you somewhere that wasn't a work thing? When's the last time he put you first?" Ariana's throat felt tight. She took another sip of mimosa to buy herself time. Around them, the restaurant was filling up with the brunch crowd. Groups of women like them, couples holding hands, families that looked happy even if they probably weren't. "He's busy," she said. And even to her own ears it sounded weak. "We're all busy." Tasha leaned back in her chair. "I work 50 hours a week at the hospital. Keisha's got her salon. We make time for the people we love. That's what you do." "Maybe he doesn't love me anymore." The words came out before Ariana could stop them. And once they were out there hanging in the air between mimosas and half-eaten food, she couldn't take them back. Tasha and Keisha exchanged a look. "Do you love him?" Keisha asked. Did she? Ariana thought about Eric upstairs in his office, his voice steady and confident as he talked business with people on the other side of the world. Thought about the way he used to kiss her goodbye in the morning, slow and deliberate, like he was memorizing her. Thought about the man she'd married versus the man who'd texted her an hour ago like she was his assistant. "I love who he used to be," she said quietly. "I don't know if I love who he is now." Nobody said anything for a minute. The table next to them erupted in laughter. Someone's phone was playing music too loud. The world kept moving while Ariana's felt like it was standing still. "You know what you need." Tasha's voice was different now, lighter, like she was changing the subject on purpose. "Miami." Ariana blinked. "What?" "Miami, next month. Me, you, Keisha, girls' trip, beach, drinks, sun, no husbands, no work, no stress. I can't just... Why not?" Keisha was already pulling out her phone. "I'm looking at Airbnbs right now. There's a place in South Beach that's perfect. 3 bedrooms, walking distance to everything. Y'all are serious." "Dead serious." Tasha grabbed her mimosa, held it up like a toast. "When's the last time you did something for yourself? Not for Eric, Not for the house, not for anybody but you. Ariana couldn't remember. That was the problem. I'd have to ask Eric. No, Keisha didn't look up from her phone. You'd have to tell Eric there's a difference. He might need me for something. Girl! Tasha set her glass down. If that man can take calls on a Saturday morning, you can take a week in Miami. End of story. Ariana's phone was face down on the table. She could feel it there, heavy with unread messages that probably weren't from Eric. He was busy. He was always busy. 1 week, Tasha continued. July, I already put in for the time off. Keisha's closing the salon for a few days. You're coming. I don't have a bathing suit. So, buy one. Keisha finally looked up, grinning. Buy 5. Buy 10. Buy something red and make every man on that beach lose his mind. Despite everything, Ariana smiled. A real one this time. Red. Red, Keisha confirmed. The kind that makes you feel like you're the baddest thing walking. The kind Eric should have been buying you instead of worrying about investment-grade porcelain. They all laughed at that, and for the first time all morning, Ariana felt something other than tired. The rest of brunch passed in a blur of mimosas and planning and laughter that felt like medicine. By the time they paid the check, splitting it 3 ways even though Tasha tried to cover it, Ariana had agreed to Miami, a week in July. Beach and sun and freedom. She'd tell Eric tonight, or tomorrow, whenever he came out of his office long enough to have an actual conversation. Outside, the heat was suffocating, the kind of Atlanta summer heat that made everything shimmer, that turned cars into ovens and sidewalks into griddles. Ariana hugged both her friends, promised to look at flights, and walked to her car with something that felt dangerously close to hope. Her phone had 3 notifications, 2 Instagram likes, 1 text from Eric. Meetings running long. Might work through dinner. There's leftover Thai in the fridge. She stared at the message for a long time. Reread it twice to make sure she wasn't missing anything. A hope brunch was good, or miss you, or anything that suggested he remembered she existed. Nothing. Ariana opened her messages and started typing. Then stopped. Started again. Stopped again. Finally, she just wrote, "Okay." She sat in her car with the AC blasting, watching Tasha and Keisha drive away in Keisha's Jeep, probably already blasting music and talking about her. About Eric. About the marriage that looked perfect on paper and felt hollow in real life. The parking lot was emptying out. Families loading kids into minivans. Couples holding hands as they walked to their cars. A guy washing windows at the gas station across the street, his shirt already soaked through with sweat. Ariana pulled up her browser and typed, "Flights to Miami, July." The first result was $247 round trip. Direct flight, 2 hours. She clicked. Then she closed the browser and put her phone in the cup holder, started her car, pulled out of the parking lot. The drive home felt longer than it should have. Every red light lasted forever. The highway was packed with Saturday traffic, people going to the lake, to the mall, to lives that maybe weren't perfect, but at least felt lived. When she turned onto her street, she could see Eric's car still in the driveway, still perfect and clean, still there even though he wasn't. Ariana pulled in next to it and turned off the engine. The house was quiet. 2 weeks later, Ariana stood in the dressing room at Lenox Square, staring at herself in a red bikini that made her feel exposed in ways she hadn't felt in years. The lighting was harsh, the kind that showed every imperfection, every stretch mark, every curve. But somehow, she didn't hate what she saw. The bikini fit like it was made for her body. High-waisted bottoms that sat right at her hips. A top that actually supported her without looking like a sports bra. Red, bold, nothing like the black one-piece she'd worn on their honeymoon in Turks and Caicos 7 years ago. "Girl, you coming out or what?" Tasha's voice came from outside the curtain. "I don't know about this. Let me see." Ariana took a breath and pulled the curtain back. Tasha was sitting on the bench in the hallway, scrolling through her phone. When she looked up, her mouth literally fell open. Oh, hell yes. It's too much. It's perfect." Tasha stood up, circling her like she was a piece of art. "Ariana, girl, you look incredible. Eric's gonna hate it." "Good." Tasha crossed her arms. "Did you tell him yet? About Miami?" Ariana looked away. The dressing room mirror behind her showed her reflection from the back. She'd forgotten how her body looked like this, forgotten that she had a body at all, honestly. The past few years had been about being professional, appropriate, acceptable, not about being seen. Not yet. Ariana, I will. I just haven't found the right time. The right time? Tasha laughed. But it wasn't a happy sound. The man's never home. When's the right time gonna be? She had a point. Eric had been home exactly 3 nights in the past 2 weeks. The other nights he'd stayed late at the office, claiming deadlines and meetings and all the reasons why work came first. One night he'd flown to Charlotte for a client dinner. Hadn't gotten home until after midnight, smelling like expensive bourbon and someone else's cigar smoke. I'll tell him this weekend, Ariana said. We leave in 3 weeks. I know. Tasha studied her for a long moment. Then she sighed. Buy the bikini. You're buying the damn bikini. It's $90. So, when's the last time you bought something for yourself that wasn't on sale? Ariana couldn't remember. Eric made good money, great money if she was being honest, but she'd gotten in the habit of asking before she spent, of justifying every purchase, of making herself smaller in every possible way. Buy it, Tasha said again, and buy the matching cover-up and those sandals you were looking at, and whatever else makes you feel like yourself again. Ariana looked at her reflection one more time. Red looked good on her. It always had. Why had she stopped wearing it? Okay. Okay, I'm buying it. Tasha grinned. That's my girl. The Uber dropped her off at home just after 6. Eric's car was in the driveway again, which meant he was probably upstairs in his office again, doing whatever it was he did that was more important than his wife. Ariana grabbed her shopping bags from the trunk and headed inside. The house smelled like nothing. No dinner cooking, no candles burning, no signs of life beyond the hum of the AC and the distant sound of Eric's voice from upstairs. She set the bags on the kitchen counter and pulled out her phone. No texts, no missed calls. It was like she'd vanished for 6 hours and nobody noticed. The Thai food was still in the fridge from 2 weeks ago. She threw it out, wiped down the shelves and stared at the empty space like it would tell her what to do next. Her phone buzzed. Finally. She grabbed it too fast. Keisha, did you get the bikini? Yes. Pics, or it didn't happen. Ariana smiled despite herself, took a selfie in the kitchen, just her face, not the bikini, and sent it. 3 dots appeared immediately. Girl, you're glowing. When you telling Eric? Soon, that's what you said last week. I know, just rip the Band-Aid off. What's he gonna do? Say no? That was exactly what Ariana was afraid of. Not that Eric would say no. She could go regardless, but that he wouldn't care enough to say anything at all. That he'd just nod and go back to his laptop and confirm what she already suspected. That she could disappear tomorrow and it would take him 3 days to notice. Upstairs, Eric's office door opened. Footsteps on the hardwood. Then he was in the kitchen, barefoot in khakis and a button down with the sleeves rolled up. He looked tired. Good, but tired. Hey, he said. Didn't hear you come in. I texted. He checked his phone, frowned. Sorry, I was on a call. You're always on a call. It came out sharper than she meant it to. Eric looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in what felt like weeks. Everything okay? Was everything okay? Ariana wanted to laugh, wanted to scream, wanted to ask him when they'd become 2 people who lived in the same house but never actually spoke. Instead, she said, I'm going to Miami. Silence. Eric leaned against the counter, arms crossed. When? July. 3 weeks, with Tasha and Keisha. For how long? A week. More silence. He was processing, she could tell. Running calculations in his head like this was a business decision. We have the Phillips dinner that week, he said finally. Move it. Ariana, I can't just then go without me. She grabbed one of the shopping bags, pulled out the red bikini, held it up. I'm going to Miami. I already bought the swimsuit. Eric stared at the bikini like it was a foreign object. His jaw tightened. That's what you're wearing. What's wrong with it? Nothing. It's just... As he ran a hand through his hair. It's a lot. A lot of what? Red. It's It's very red. Ariana felt something cold settle in her chest. You don't like it. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. They stood there in the kitchen, the bikini hanging between them like evidence. Evidence of what, Ariana wasn't sure. That she'd bought something without asking. That she'd made plans without checking his calendar first. That she still existed as a person outside of being Eric Donovan's wife. I think it's great you're going, Eric said, and his voice was so careful it made her want to cry. You should go. Have fun. But nothing. Go to Miami. Wear whatever you want. I'll figure out the Phillips dinner. He was being reasonable, supportive, even. So why did it feel like a dismissal? I'm leaving Friday the 15th, Ariana said. Coming back the 22nd. Okay. I already bought the plane ticket. Okay. And I'm not changing my mind. Eric smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I wouldn't expect you to. He grabbed a water bottle from the fridge and headed back upstairs. Halfway up, he paused. That bikini does look good, by the way. You'll look great. Then he was gone. Ariana stood in the kitchen holding the red bikini and trying to figure out why his approval felt worse than his criticism would have. That night, she couldn't sleep. Eric was next to her, dead to the world the way he always was. The man could sleep through anything. But Ariana lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to the AC cycle on and off, thinking about red bikinis and Miami, and marriages that looked fine from the outside but felt hollow on the inside. Her phone was on the nightstand, screen down. She picked it up. 2:47 a.m. She opened Instagram, scrolled past ads and memes and photos of people she barely knew living lives that looked happier than hers, stopped on a post from Keisha, a sunset over what looked like a beach, caption about new beginnings. Ariana liked it, kept scrolling, found herself on Eric's profile. He barely posted, maybe once every few months. The last photo was from 4 months ago. Him at some conference in New York, shaking hands with a man in an expensive suit. Before that, their anniversary dinner, the one where he'd taken the call from Frankfurt. In the photo, they looked happy. Her in the black dress, him in a suit, smiling at the camera like they had it all figured out. 237 likes, comments from co-workers and clients saying congratulations, saying they looked perfect together, saying couple goals. Nobody knew the call had come 5 minutes after that photo was taken. Ariana closed the app, turned her phone face down again, rolled onto her side, away from Eric. She thought about Tasha's question, do you love him? The answer used to be easy. Now it felt complicated. She loved the man she'd married, the one who'd brought her coffee in bed and kissed her forehead, and told her she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, the one who'd proposed in Piedmont Park on a random Tuesday because he couldn't wait any longer, the one who'd cried on their wedding day. But that man had disappeared somewhere between the promotion and the bigger house and the life that looked perfect but felt empty. This man, the one sleeping next to her, the one who'd looked at her red bikini like it was a problem to solve, she didn't know if she loved him anymore, and that scared her more than anything. Ariana closed her eyes, tried to sleep, failed. At 3:15 she got up and went downstairs, made tea she didn't drink, sat at the kitchen island in the dark staring at the shopping bag with the red bikini still inside. 3 weeks until Miami. 3 weeks until she got to be someone other than Eric Donovan's invisible wife. Outside, a car drove by slowly. A dog barked in the distance. The refrigerator hummed. She picked up her phone and opened the group chat with Tasha and Keisha. Can't sleep. Too excited. The lies we tell ourselves at 3 a.m. But maybe if she said it enough times, it would become true. Her phone stayed dark. The 3 weeks passed like they were made of concrete. Slow, heavy. Each day the same as the last. Eric worked late every night. Came home smelling like the office, stale coffee and air conditioning and stress. They'd have dinner in silence or not at all. He'd ask how her day was in that distracted way that meant he wasn't really listening. She'd say fine. He'd nod. They'd go to bed like roommates. By the time Friday the 15th rolled around, Ariana felt like she could breathe for the first time in months. She packed Thursday night, while Eric was still at the office. Laid everything out on the bed like she was preparing for battle. Sundresses, shorts, sandals, the red bikini still in its bag with the tags on. She'd bought sunscreen, a new pair of sunglasses, a beach bag she'd found at Target. Everything felt like armor, protection against whatever was waiting for her when she got back. Eric came home at 10, stopped in the bedroom doorway, tie loosened, looking at the suitcase on the bed. "You leave tomorrow?" "Flight's at noon." He nodded, didn't come closer. "You have everything you need?" "Yeah." "Keisha's picking you up?" "Tasha, at 9. Another nod. He stood there for a minute like he wanted to say something else. Then he just said, "I'm gonna shower." The water ran for 20 minutes. When he came out, Ariana was already in bed, phone in hand, pretending to read something. Eric got in on his side. The mattress dipped. He smelled like his fancy body wash, the kind that cost $40 and came in a glass bottle. "Have fun in Miami," he said to the ceiling. "Thanks. Text me when you land." "Okay." Silence. The AC kicked on. Somewhere outside, somebody's car alarm went off for 30 seconds, then stopped. "Ariana." She looked over at him. He was staring at the ceiling, jaw tight. "Yeah?" "Nothing. Never mind." She waited. He didn't continue. "Good night, Eric." "Night." She turned off her lamp, lay there in the dark, listening to his breathing even out, wondering what he'd been about to say, wondering if it would have mattered. Tasha showed up at 8:30, which meant she was late because she was never on time for anything. Ariana heard the horn before she saw the car. Tasha's silver Honda, with the dent in the back bumper from when she'd backed into a pole at the hospital parking deck. Eric was already gone. Left at 6:30 for an early meeting, kissed her forehead in his sleep, mumbled something she didn't catch. When she woke up at 7, his side of the bed was empty and cold. There was a note on the kitchen counter. "Have a great trip." That was it. No, "I love you." No, "I'll miss you." Just have a great trip, like she was a co-worker going to a conference. Ariana folded the note and left it on the counter, grabbed her suitcase, her purse, her phone, locked the door behind her, didn't look back. "Girl, you ready?" Tasha was leaning out the driver's window, grinning. Keisha was in the passenger seat already on her phone. So ready. The trunk popped. Ariana threw her suitcase in next to Tasha's and Keisha's. Theirs were bigger, more worn. Hers was new, black, with little wheels that Eric had insisted were the best on the market. Everything Eric bought was the best on the market. She got in the back seat and immediately felt lighter. "All right, ladies." Tasha pulled out of the driveway too fast. "Miami, here we come." The drive to the airport took 45 minutes. They played music too loud and sang off-key and talked about everything except Eric. It felt intentional, like they'd agreed beforehand not to mention him unless Ariana brought him up first. She didn't. At the airport, they checked their bags and made it through security without any drama, found their gate with an hour to spare. Tasha bought overpriced coffee. Keisha bought a neck pillow she didn't need. Ariana just sat there, watching people rush past with their carry-ons and their stress, and felt something that might have been peace. Her phone buzzed. Eric. "Safe travels." She stared at the text. Typed back thanks, then deleted it. Typed miss you, then deleted that too. Finally just sent a thumbs-up emoji and put her phone away. "He text you?" Keisha asked. "Yeah." "What did he say?" "Safe travels." Keisha made a face. "That man, I swear. It's fine." "It's not fine, but okay." She unwrapped the neck pillow. "We're not talking about him this week. This week is about you, about us. About having fun and being free and remembering what it feels like to not be attached to a man who doesn't appreciate you." "Preach," Tasha said, raising her coffee cup. The boarding announcement came on. They gathered their things and joined the line of people shuffling toward the gate. An older couple in front of them was holding hands. Behind them, a guy was on the phone arguing with someone about money. The world kept spinning. Everyone had their own drama. Ariana boarded the plane and found her window seat. Tasha was next to her, Keisha across the aisle. The plane smelled like recycled air and someone's perfume that was too strong. She pulled out her phone one more time before they made them turn it off. No new messages. She turned it to airplane mode and put it in her purse. The plane taxied down the runway. Atlanta got smaller below them. The houses, the trees, the highways all shrinking into nothing. Ariana pressed her forehead against the window and watched her life disappear beneath the clouds. 2 hours. That's all it took to get to Miami. 2 hours and she'd be somewhere completely different. Somewhere Eric wasn't. Somewhere she could just be Ariana, not Eric's wife. Not the woman in the perfect house with the perfect car and the empty marriage. Just Ariana. The thought made her chest tight in a way that wasn't entirely bad. Miami hit like a wall of heat and humidity the second they stepped out of the airport. "Oh my God," Keisha said, fanning herself. "I forgot how hot it gets down here." "It's beautiful." Tasha was already pulling out her phone to take pictures. "Look at that sky." It was beautiful. Bright blue, no clouds, the sun so intense it hurt to look at, the palm trees swaying, the energy different from Atlanta, faster, louder, more alive. They got an Uber, a black SUV with a driver who played reggaeton too loud and didn't talk, which was perfect. The ride to South Beach took 20 minutes through traffic that made Atlanta look calm, but nobody cared. They had the windows down, the music up, their whole week ahead of them. The Airbnb was everything the photos promised. A 3-bedroom condo 2 blocks from the beach, all white furniture and blue accents and a balcony that overlooked the street. Keisha immediately claimed the master bedroom. Tasha took the one with the ocean view. Ariana got the smallest room, but she didn't mind. It had a window that let in perfect light and a bed that wasn't the one she shared with Eric. "All right." Tasha flopped on the couch in the living room. "What's the plan?" "Beach," Keisha said. "Obviously." "Now?" "Girl, yes now. We didn't come to Miami to sit inside." Ariana looked out the balcony door. She could see the ocean from here, just a sliver of blue between the buildings. Could hear it too, or maybe she was imagining that part. "Give me 10 minutes to change," she said. In her room, she unzipped her suitcase and stared at the red bikini. It looked even more intense in the Miami light, bold, unapologetic. Not her at all, except maybe it was. She put it on, looked at herself in the mirror. The woman staring back at her looked confident, beautiful, free. She threw on denim shorts and a white tank top over it, grabbed her sunglasses, her phone, her sunscreen. Took a breath. When she came out, Tasha whistled. "There she is." "Shut up." "I'm serious. You look good, girl." They walked to the beach, weaving through tourists and street vendors, and the kind of chaos that only exists in places where everyone's on vacation. The sand was hot under Ariana's sandals. The ocean was impossible blue. People everywhere, families, couples, groups of friends, solo travelers, everyone living their best life, or at least pretending to. They found a spot, laid out their towels. Tasha immediately stripped down to her bikini, yellow, tiny, perfect on her. Keisha was right behind her in purple. They looked like they belonged here, like they'd been doing this their whole lives. Ariana hesitated. "You coming?" Keisha asked. She pulled off the tank top, then the shorts. Stood there in the red bikini, feeling like every eye on the beach was on her. Maybe they were. A guy walking past with a volleyball literally did a double take, stopped walking, stared. "Keep moving," Tasha called out to him. He grinned and kept walking, but he looked back twice. "See," Keisha was putting on sunscreen. "Told you that bikini was dangerous." Ariana sat down on her towel, heart pounding for reasons she didn't want to examine. The sun felt good on her skin. The sound of the waves, the voices around them, the music playing from somewhere down the beach, it all felt like permission to exist differently. She pulled out her phone. 3 bars of service, 1 notification, Instagram. Someone had liked an old photo from 2 years ago. No texts from Eric. She put the phone away. The ocean was right there. By day 3, Ariana had stopped checking her phone every 5 minutes. Eric had texted twice since she landed. Once to ask if she'd made it safely, once to tell her about a pipe leak in the upstairs bathroom that the plumber had fixed. Both messages felt like updates you'd send a roommate, not your wife. She'd responded with short answers, didn't elaborate, didn't ask about his day or his meetings or anything that would have been normal 3 months ago. The distance felt easier than the pretending. Miami was doing something to her, Or maybe she was just letting herself feel things she'd been pushing down for years. Either way, she felt different, lighter, like someone had removed weights she didn't know she'd been carrying. "You're glowing," Tasha said over breakfast at some overpriced cafe in Wynwood. They'd spent the morning walking through the art district, taking pictures in front of murals, acting like tourists, even though Keisha kept complaining about her feet. "It's the sun," Ariana said. "It's not the sun." Keisha was scrolling through the photos on her phone. "Look at this. Look at your face." She held up a picture from yesterday. Ariana on the beach laughing at something Tasha had said, the ocean behind her, her skin glowing in the late afternoon light. She looked happy. Actually happy. "Send me that," Ariana said. "Already did." Keisha grinned. "You posting it?" "Maybe." She opened Instagram while Tasha ordered more coffee. Her feed was full of people back home living their regular lives. Someone's baby shower, someone's new car, a sunset from Piedmont Park. Everything looked flat compared to the colors of Miami. She opened the photo Keisha had sent, stared at it for a long time. Then she posted it with a simple caption, "Vitamin C." The likes started immediately. Friends from college, old co-workers. People she hadn't talked to in years suddenly sliding into her DMs. "You look amazing. Miami looks good on you. Drop the bikini link, girl." She smiled, put her phone away, picked it back up when it buzzed 30 seconds later. Eric. Nice photo. That was it. 2 words. Not, "You look beautiful," or "I miss you," or anything that suggested he'd felt something seeing his wife happy in another state. Just, "Nice photo." Ariana locked her phone and slid it across the table. "He comment?" Tasha asked, reading her face. Texted. "Let me guess. Something romantic like, 'Looks fun,' or 'Nice weather.' Close? Nice photo?" Keisha made a disgusted sound. "I cannot with that man." "It's whatever." Ariana picked up her iced coffee. The straw was already chewed at the end from nervous habit. "We're not here to think about him." "Damn right." Tasha raised her cup. "To not thinking about men who don't deserve our energy." They clinked glasses. Ariana drank and tried not to think about how Eric used to text her paragraphs, used to send her photos throughout the day, used to look at pictures of her and tell her she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. When did he stop seeing her? "You know what we need?" Keisha was already pulling up something on her phone. "A night out, like a real night out. Club, drinks, dancing, the whole thing." "I didn't bring club clothes," Ariana said, "so we'll buy some." Tasha was nodding enthusiastically. "There's that boutique we passed yesterday, the one with the cute dresses in the window." "I don't know." "Ariana." Keisha set her phone down and looked at her seriously. "When's the last time you went out? Like really went out?" She couldn't remember. Every night out for the past 2 years had been work-related. Client dinners where she had to make small talk with strangers while Eric networked. Charity galas where she wore the right dress and said the right things and smiled until her face hurt. She couldn't remember the last time she'd danced just because she wanted to. "It's been a while," she admitted. "Exactly." Keisha stood up. "We're going shopping, and tonight we're going to that club on Ocean Drive. And you're going to dance until your feet hurt and flirt with men who aren't your husband, and remember what it feels like to be young and hot and alive." "I'm not flirting with anyone. You don't have to do anything. Just let them look. Let them buy you drinks. Let them remind you that you're not invisible." Something in Ariana's chest cracked open. The boutique was expensive and worth it. Ariana tried on 6 dresses before finding the one. Black, fitted, short enough to be dangerous but not desperate. The kind of dress that hugged every curve and made apologies to no one. "That's the one," Tasha said from outside the dressing room. "It's too much. It's perfect." Ariana looked at herself in the mirror. The dress made her look taller, curvier, more confident. She looked like someone who belonged in Miami nightlife. Someone who didn't spend her Saturday nights eating takeout alone while her husband worked upstairs. "I'll take it," she said. They bought shoes too, strappy heels that Ariana would definitely regret by midnight but didn't care, and earrings, and a clutch that cost more than it should have but matched perfectly. By the time they got back to the Airbnb, it was late afternoon. The sun was starting to sink, painting the sky those impossible Miami colors, orange and pink and purple all at once. "We leave at 10, Keisha announced, heading to her room, "which means we start getting ready at 7. "That's 3 hours, Ariana said, "and we'll need every minute." They did need every minute. Ariana took her time in the shower, letting the hot water wash away the salt and sand from the beach, shaved her legs carefully, did her skincare routine for the first time in days, moisturized with the expensive lotion Eric had bought her for Christmas that she barely used because what was the point when nobody was touching her? She put on the dress, the heels. Did her makeup. Not too much, but enough. Gold eyeshadow that made her brown eyes pop. Lip gloss that made her lips look fuller, blush that gave her cheeks a glow that wasn't entirely from the Miami sun. When she looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. Not because she looked different, but because she looked happy, present, alive. There was a knock on her door. "You decent?" Tasha called. "Yeah." Tasha walked in wearing a red dress that showed off everything. Keisha was behind her in emerald green. They both stopped and stared. "Oh," Keisha said. "Oh, Eric is going to lose his mind when he sees these photos." "We're not posting photos for Eric," Tasha said. "We're posting photos for us," Ariana agreed, "and everyone else who follows us." They took pictures on the balcony, in the living room, in front of the full-length mirror, pictures of all three of them, pictures of each of them alone, pictures that would make everyone back home wonder what they were missing. Ariana posted one, just her, standing in the doorway of the Airbnb, the Miami lights behind her, looking like she belonged there. Caption, "Different energy." The likes came faster this time. Comments too. "Who is she? Body Miami treating you right." She watched them roll in for a minute, then turned off her notifications. Tonight wasn't about the likes, wasn't about proving anything to anyone. Tonight was about remembering what it felt like to be seen. The Uber pulled up at 10:15, a black SUV with LED lights inside and a driver who complimented all three of them before they'd even gotten in. Ocean Drive was packed. People everywhere, tourists, locals, everyone dressed like they were trying to impress someone. The club Keisha had picked had a line wrapped around the block, but she knew the bouncer from her last trip down. They walked straight in. The music hit immediately. Loud bass that Ariana felt in her chest, lights that turned everything blue and purple, bodies moving everywhere. The energy electric. "Drinks first," Tasha shouted over the music. They pushed through to the bar. Some guy immediately offered to buy their round. Tasha accepted before Ariana could protest. He was cute, tall, light skin, nice smile. Kept looking at Ariana while he ordered. "You from here?" he asked her. "Atlanta." "Yeah? I could tell. You got that southern thing." Ariana didn't know what that meant, but she smiled anyway. Took the drink he handed her. Some rum-based thing that was too sweet, but she drank it anyway. "I'm Marcus," he said. She almost laughed. Of course he was. "Ariana. Pretty name. You here with—" He gestured at Tasha and Keisha, who were already on the dance floor. "My girls. Just your girls." She knew what he was asking. Held up her left hand. The ring caught the club lights. "Ah." He nodded, not disappointed. Just acknowledging. Lucky man. Yeah. But she didn't feel lucky. Didn't feel married. Felt like a woman in a black dress in a Miami club being seen by a stranger who'd bought her a drink and would forget her name by tomorrow. And that felt better than anything Eric had made her feel in months. Marcus drifted away eventually. But others came. Asked her name, complimented her dress, her smile, her energy. She danced with Tasha and Keisha. Let the music move through her. Let herself be present in her body for the first time in forever. Around midnight, she checked her phone. 2 missed calls from Eric. 1 text. "Call me when you can." She put her phone away. The night continued. Ariana woke up to 17 missed calls. Her head was pounding. The room was too bright even with the curtains closed. She could hear Tasha snoring in the next room, Keisha's alarm going off and getting snoozed repeatedly. She reached for her phone on the nightstand, squinted at the screen. 17 missed calls, all from Eric, between midnight and 3 a.m. There were texts, too. Call me Ariana. This isn't funny. Where are you? I can see you're reading these fine. Call me when you wake up. The last one came in at 3:47 a.m. Atlanta time, 2:47 here. She sat up slowly. Her dress from last night was on the floor, one heel by the door, the other somewhere she couldn't see. Her makeup was definitely still on. She could feel the mascara crusted on her lashes. She called him. He picked up on the first ring. Jesus Christ, Ariana. What's wrong? Her voice was rough. She needed water. What's wrong? You didn't answer your phone all night. I was out. I know you were out. I saw the photos. She closed her eyes. Right. The Instagram posts, the club, the dress. It's 6 in the morning there, she said. Did you sleep? No, I didn't sleep. He sounded exhausted, angry. Do you know what it's like to call your wife 17 times and get no answer? Do you know what it's like to text your husband and get 2-word responses for 3 months straight? Silence on the other end. She could hear him breathing. This isn't about that, he said finally. Everything's about that, Eric. More silence. Ariana got up, walked to the bathroom, turned on the tap, drank water straight from the faucet because she couldn't find a cup and didn't care. Who were you with? Eric's voice was different now, quieter. Tasha and Keisha. You know that. Who else? What? In the photos, there were people around you. Men. Ariana almost laughed. We were at a club, Eric. There were a lot of people. That guy who commented. Marcus, who is he? She had to think for a second. Marcus, the guy who'd bought them drinks. She didn't even remember if she'd told him her last name. Nobody. Some guy at the bar. Some guy. Yes, some guy who bought us drinks and then left. That's what happens at clubs. You gave him your Instagram. He probably just searched my name. I'm not exactly hard to find. She was getting angry now. The pounding in her head was getting worse. Is that what this is about? You think I'm cheating on you? I didn't say that. You called me 17 times because you saw a guy in the background of a photo. You weren't answering. I was having fun. Remember fun? That thing people do when they're not working 70 hours a week. Her voice was louder than she meant it to be. In the next room, Tasha's snoring stopped. Eric was quiet for so long she thought he'd hung up. Then, I don't like this. Don't like what? This. You. Miami. The dress. He stopped. I don't like not knowing where you are or who you're with. Now you know how I feel every single day. The words hung there. Ariana sat on the edge of the bathtub, phone pressed to her ear, waiting for him to say something. Anything. That's not fair, he said. Isn't it? You leave at 6, come home at 10. You work weekends. You take calls during dinner. I could disappear, and it would take you 3 days to notice. That's not true. You texted me nice photo, hon, Eric. I posted a picture of myself happy in another state, and you said nice photo. She heard him exhale, could picture him wherever he was, probably home in the kitchen, coffee already made, jaw tight the way it got when he was frustrated. I'm not good at this, he said quietly. Good at what? Saying what I mean. You know that. No. I used to know that. Now I don't know anything. Silence again. Ariana's head was killing her. She needed ibuprofen, needed this conversation to be over. I should go, she said. I'll call you later. Ariana. What, Eric? Another pause. Then, nothing. Have a good day. She hung up, sat there on the bathtub for a long time, staring at the tiles, feeling something break apart in her chest. That sounded fun, Tasha said when Ariana finally emerged from her room. They were on the balcony, Tasha with coffee, Keisha with sunglasses even though she was in the shade. He saw the photos, Ariana said. And he called me 17 times, Keisha whistled. 17, that man's big pressed. He thinks I'm out here doing something. Are you? Tasha asked. What? No, Ariana stopped. I'm just existing. I'm just trying to breathe for 5 seconds without feeling like I'm suffocating in my own life. Tasha patted the chair next to her. Ariana sat, took the coffee Keisha handed her without asking. What did you tell him? Keisha asked. The truth. That we went out. That I had fun. That some random guy bought us drinks, and I didn't even remember his name until Eric brought him up. He's jealous, Tasha said. He has no right to be jealous. Nah, he doesn't, but he is. She took a sip of coffee. Good. Good? Yeah, good. That man's been taking you for granted for years. Let him sweat a little. Let him wonder. Let him feel what you've been feeling. Ariana wanted to argue but couldn't, because Tasha was right. For the first time in their marriage, Eric was the one wondering, the one worried, the one feeling left behind. And part of her, the part that was tired of being invisible, liked it. I'm not trying to hurt him, she said. Nobody said you were. Keisha leaned back in her chair. But you're also not responsible for managing his feelings when he hasn't given a damn about yours. Her phone buzzed. She looked down automatically. Eric again. I'm sorry, just that. 2 words that probably took him 20 minutes to type. She didn't respond. Beach day? Tasha asked, clearly changing the subject. Beach day, Ariana agreed. They spent the afternoon doing nothing productive. Laid out in the sun, went in the water when it got too hot, bought overpriced frozen drinks from a vendor who definitely watered them down. Normal vacation things, simple things. Ariana's phone buzzed periodically. Eric checking in, asking how she was. Sending photos of the house like that would make her homesick. The garden looks good. Fixed the AC filter having dinner with the Reynolds tonight. Wish you were here. That last one made her laugh. The Reynolds, a client couple Eric had been courting for months. He'd asked her to come to 3 previous dinners with them. She'd sat through all 3, smiling and nodding, while they talked about portfolios and investment strategies and golf. Wish you were here, sure. She typed back, have fun around 5. A guy approached them on the beach. Tall, athletic build, face she almost recognized. Excuse me, he said, looking at Ariana. I don't mean to bother you, but did you go to Clark Atlanta? She sat up. Yeah, class of 2016. Thought so. I'm Darius, class of 2015. I think we had economics together. Professor Mitchell's class. And just like that, she remembered. Darius Coleman. Sat 3 rows ahead of her. Always asked questions that made the lectures run long. Had done a presentation on cryptocurrency before anyone knew what that was. Oh my God, she said. Yeah, you did that Bitcoin presentation, he laughed. And everyone thought I was crazy. You probably made millions. Not millions, but I did all right. He gestured to the beach. You here on vacation? Yeah, girls' trip. Nice. I'm here for a conference. Software development. Very boring. He smiled. It was a good smile. You look great, by the way. Miami agrees with you. Tasha was watching this exchange with barely concealed delight. Keisha was pretending to be on her phone, but definitely listening. Thanks, Ariana said. You too. I mean, you look good, too. Smooth. Real smooth. You guys doing anything tonight? Darius asked. Nothing planned. There's this rooftop bar in Brickell. My company rented it out for the conference people, but I can bring guests, if you're interested. Tasha answered before Ariana could. We're interested. Darius grinned. Cool. I'll text you the address. He looked at Ariana. If that's okay? She hesitated. Thought about Eric at home having dinner with the Reynolds. Probably not thinking about her at all until it was time to check in with another bland text. Yeah, she said. That's okay. He pulled out his phone. They exchanged numbers. He left with a wave and a promise to see them later. The second he was out of earshot, Keisha turned to her. Girl, don't. That man is fine. He's an old classmate. He's fine and interested, and you're going to that bar tonight. I'm married. You're married to a man who called you 17 times because he's scared someone might notice how incredible you are. Tasha's voice was gentle but firm. Go to the bar, hang out with Darius. Remind yourself that you're worth someone's time. Ariana looked out at the ocean. The sun was setting, painting everything gold. Her phone buzzed. Eric, dinner's over. Reynolds signed. Big deal. Wish you'd been there to celebrate. She locked her phone. The sky was turning pink. The rooftop bar was everything Miami promised to be. String lights everywhere, the city skyline lit up behind them, music that was loud enough to feel but soft enough to talk over. People in expensive clothes pretending not to care that everything they wore cost a month's rent. Ariana had changed into a white sundress, simple, elegant, nothing like the black dress from last night. But somehow it felt more dangerous, like she was trying less and therefore trying more. Darius was waiting by the elevator when they arrived. He'd changed too, button down, dark jeans, no tie. He looked good, successful, like someone who'd taken that Bitcoin presentation seriously and made something of himself. "You made it," he said, smiling at all three of them but looking at Ariana. "Wouldn't miss it," Tasha said, already scanning the crowd for the bar. The rooftop was packed with tech people. You could tell by the way they dressed, expensive but trying not to be, hoodies that cost $300, sneakers that were somehow both casual and designer. Everyone holding drinks, everyone networking, everyone trying to look like they weren't trying. Darius led them to a section near the edge where the view was best. Got them drinks without asking what they wanted. Vodka sodas with lime. Perfect for the heat that hadn't let up even though the sun was down. "So," he said, settling next to Ariana, while Tasha and Keisha strategically drifted toward a group near the bar. "What brings you to Miami? Besides the obvious." "Needed a break," she said. "From? Life? Atlanta? Everything." He nodded like he understood. "I get that. Work. Marriage." The word came out before she could stop it. She took a long drink to cover the awkwardness. Darius glanced at her left hand. The ring was still there, catching the lights. "Want to talk about it?" "Not really." "Fair enough." He leaned against the railing, looking out at the city. "For what it's worth, whoever he is, he's an idiot for letting you come here alone." "I'm not alone, I have my girls." "You know what I mean." She did. And he was right, kind of. Eric should have come with her, should have suggested it himself months ago, should have noticed she was drowning and thrown her a lifeline instead of another work dinner. "He's busy," she said, which was the excuse she'd been using for 2 years. Everyone's busy, it's about priorities. Her phone was in her clutch, probably blowing up with Eric's texts by now. She'd posted a story before they left, just a shot of the Miami skyline with the caption "Good vibes only." Harmless, but Eric would read into it. He was reading into everything now. "You're right," she said. "I usually am." Darius grinned. "It's annoying, I know." She laughed, a real one. When was the last time she'd laughed like that? They talked about Clark Atlanta, about professors they'd loved and hated, about friends they'd lost touch with. He told her about his company, some app development thing she only half understood, but nodded along to because he was enthusiastic, and it was nice to see someone passionate about their work without it consuming their entire life. "What about you?" he asked. "You still doing graphic design?" She was surprised he remembered. "Not really. I freelance sometimes, but my husband makes enough that I don't really need to work." The words tasted wrong in her mouth, like she was making excuses again, like she'd let herself become optional in her own life. "Do you want to work?" Darius asked. Nobody had asked her that in years. Eric just assumed she was happy. Her friends assumed she was lucky. Nobody asked if she wanted something different. "Yeah," she said quietly. "I do." "So work. It's not that simple." "Why not?" "Because Eric's career came first, because their life was built around his schedule, because somewhere along the way she'd agreed to be supportive and forgotten to be herself." "It's complicated," she said. Darius didn't push, just nodded and changed the subject, but she could tell he'd clocked it. The sadness under the surface, the way she kept touching her ring like she was reminding herself it was there. Tasha appeared with Keisha in tow. "Girl, you have to try these sliders. They're tiny, but incredible." "I'm good," Ariana said. "No, you're not. Come on." She grabbed Ariana's hand, pulling her away from Darius, whispered when they were out of earshot. "You okay?" "Yeah, why?" "You look sad." "I'm not sad, Ariana." She sighed. "I'm fine, really. Just talking about work stuff." "Uh-huh." Tasha didn't believe her, but let it go. "He's cute, though, Darius. He's a friend. He's interested. He's being nice. Girl. Tasha grabbed a slider from a passing waiter. Men don't look at friends the way he's looking at you. Ariana glanced back. Darius was on his phone, not looking at her at all. You're seeing things. If you say so. They ate sliders that were indeed incredible, drank more than they should have. At some point, someone turned the music up and people started dancing. Not club dancing, but that swaying, talking, laughing thing people did at rooftop bars when they were tipsy and happy and didn't want the night to end. Darius found her again around 11. You having fun? Yeah, this is nice. Thanks for inviting us. Of course. He hesitated. Can I ask you something? Sure. Are you happy? The question hit different than she expected. Nobody asked that. People asked how she was, what she was up to, how Eric was doing. Nobody asked if she was happy. That's a complicated question, she said. It's really not. She looked at him, really looked at him. Darius Coleman, who'd sat 3 rows ahead of her in economics, who'd believed in Bitcoin when everyone laughed, who'd somehow ended up in Miami the same week she was running away from her life. No, she said. I'm not happy. He nodded. Didn't try to fix it or offer solutions or tell her it would get better. Just said, I'm sorry. Me too. Her phone buzzed in her clutch. She pulled it out. Eric, of course, where are you? You haven't responded all night. I'm worried. Please call me. She typed back, I'm fine. At a work thing. Talk tomorrow. It wasn't exactly a lie. This was technically a work event, just not hers. She put her phone away, looked at Darius. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you ever feel like you're living someone else's life? He thought about it. Yeah, I did. For a while after college, I was doing what my parents wanted. Finance job I hated. Apartment in a city I didn't like. Then I quit and started my company and everyone thought I was crazy. Were you? Probably, but I was happy. He smiled. Well, I am happy, most days. I want that, she said. The vodka was making her honest. I want to wake up and not feel like I'm drowning. So change something. It's not that easy. It never is. He looked at her seriously. But you're the only one who can do it. Nobody's coming to save you, Ariana. You have to save yourself. The words settled in her chest like stones. Across the rooftop, Keisha was laughing at something Tasha said. The city lights blinked below them. Someone spilled a drink and apologized too loudly. Life kept happening around them. I should go, Ariana said. You don't have to. I know, but I should. Darius moved closer. Not invasive. Just close enough that she could smell his cologne. Something clean and expensive. Close enough that if she wanted to, she could... Ariana. His voice was quiet. Can I be honest with you? Yeah. If you weren't married, I'd ask you to stay. I'd take you to breakfast tomorrow. I'd want to know everything about you. He paused. But you are married, so I'm not going to do that. She felt her heart pounding. Darius, I'm just saying. He looked at her with those dark eyes that had probably broken hearts all over Atlanta. Whatever you're going through with him, I hope he realizes what he has, because if he doesn't... He trailed off. Didn't finish. The unfinished sentence hung between them like a promise. For a second, just a second, Ariana let herself imagine it. What it would be like to say yes, to stay, to let someone want her this openly, this honestly, without having to beg for attention. Then she stepped back. I need your number, she said. Just to talk, that's all. That's all I'm offering. He pulled out his phone. For now. The for now landed exactly how he meant it to. She gave him her number. Their fingers brushed when he handed back her phone. It wasn't an accident. If things don't work out, Darius said carefully. If you ever find yourself single, I'm not single. I know, but if you ever are, he smiled, confident, patient, call me. Ariana grabbed Tasha and Keisha and headed for the elevator before she could do something stupid. In the Uber home, Keisha was scrolling through photos from the night. Darius is definitely interested. He's just being nice. Ariana, girl, read the room. Keisha turned to face her. We saw that, at the end. Whatever he said to you. He didn't say anything. Liar. Tasha was watching her in the rear view. What did he say? Ariana looked out the window. That if I was single, he'd want to know everything about me. Silence in the car. And what did you say? Keisha asked quietly. That I'm married. But you wanted to say something else, Tasha said. Not a question, a statement. Ariana's throat felt tight. It doesn't matter what I wanted to say. Girl. Keisha's voice was gentle now, careful. Nobody's judging you. You're human. A fine man just told you he's interested, and your husband hasn't looked at you like that in years. It's okay to feel something. I'm married, Ariana said again. Like saying it enough times would make it matter. Yeah, to a man who doesn't appreciate you. Tasha's voice was softer now, more serious. I'm not saying cheat. I'm not saying do anything. I'm just saying maybe remember what it feels like when someone actually sees you. The Uber pulled up to their Airbnb. They got out, climbed the stairs, collapsed in the living room. Ariana checked her phone. 4 more texts from Eric. This isn't like you. Whatever you're doing, just stop. I don't understand what's happening. Call me tomorrow. Please. She didn't respond. Just plugged in her phone and went to her room. Lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of the city outside her window. Thought about Darius's question. Are you happy? Thought about his answer. You have to save yourself. Thought about Eric in Atlanta, probably awake right now, probably wondering where he'd lost her. The truth was, he'd lost her slowly. A missed dinner here, a forgotten anniversary there, 1,000 small moments where work came first and she came second or third or not at all. You can't point to one moment when a marriage dies. It's not dramatic, it's just quiet erosion. Water wearing down stone. Until one day you wake up and realize you're strangers living in the same house. Ariana rolled over, pulled the blanket up to her chin. Tomorrow was day 5. 3 more days in Miami. 3 more days before she had to go back to Atlanta and face whatever came next. 3 more days of being someone other than Eric's wife. She closed her eyes. Outside, someone was playing music from their car. Ariana woke up to her phone ringing, not buzzing, ringing. The actual ringtone she'd set for Eric years ago, some John Legend song she used to love and now associated with stress. She grabbed it. 7:23 a.m. He'd let her sleep in, at least. Hello? Don't hang up. Eric's voice was strained, like he'd been up all night. Please. She sat up, rubbed her eyes. Through the window, Miami was already bright and hot. I'm not hanging up. I'm coming down there. The words didn't register at first. What? To Miami. I'm getting on a plane this afternoon. Eric? I can't do this anymore. I can't sit here while you're down there living some other life. His voice cracked. I need to see you. Ariana's heart was pounding. You can't just show up. Why not? Because I came here to get away. From me. She didn't answer. The silence was answer enough. I know I've been a shitty husband, Eric said. The words came fast, desperate. I know I work too much. I know I haven't been present. But Ariana, you can't just disappear and expect me to be okay with it. I didn't disappear. I told you where I was going. You know what I mean. She could hear him moving around, probably pacing. He always paced when he was stressed. Those photos. That guy from last night. You're different down there and I... He stopped. I'm scared. Of what? That I've already lost you. The words hit her chest like a fist. She pulled her knees up, wrapped her free arm around them. Eric, I can't do this right now. Then when? When we're divorced? When you've moved on with some guy who actually appreciates you? His voice was raw. I saw the way he was looking at you in those photos. Whoever he is. It's not about him. Then what is it about? It's about us. About how you look through me instead of at me. About how I've been invisible in my own marriage for 2 years, and you didn't notice until I left. She heard him exhale. A long, shaky breath. What do you want me to do? He asked quietly. Tell me, and I'll do it. I want you to care. Not because I'm in Miami and some guy smiled at me, but because I'm your wife and I've been drowning and you've been too busy to notice. I notice. No, you don't. You notice now because you're scared. But where were you 3 months ago? 6 months ago? Where were you when I told you I felt alone and you said you'd take me on a trip and then never did? Silence. I'm coming to Miami, Eric said again. My flight lands at 4. I booked a hotel near South Beach. I'm not asking you to change your plans or leave your friends. I need to see you face to face. Ariana closed her eyes, felt the tears coming before she could stop them. This isn't going to fix anything. Maybe not, but I have to try. Eric, I love you. His voice broke. I know I don't say it enough. I know I don't show it, but I love you and I can't lose you. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. I have to go. Ariana, she hung up, sat there in bed, phone in her lap, trying to breathe through the tightness in her chest. A knock on her door. You okay in there? Tasha's voice. Yeah. You're a terrible liar. Ariana got up, opened the door. Tasha took one look at her face and pulled her into a hug. He's coming here, Ariana said into Tasha's shoulder. What? Eric. He's getting on a plane. He'll be here this afternoon. Tasha pulled back, looked at her. Are you serious? He said he's scared he's losing me. Good. He should be scared. Tasha. What? I'm supposed to feel bad for him now? But her voice was softer. What do you want to do? I don't know. Ariana sat on the bed. I came here to figure out my life, and now he's coming, and I don't know. Do you want to see him? Did she? Part of her, the part that still remembered falling in love with him, that remembered the man who'd cried on their wedding day, wanted to see him, wanted him to fight for her the way he was fighting now. But another part, the part that had been ignored and taken for granted and made to feel small, wanted to tell him it was too late. I don't know, she said again. Keisha appeared in the doorway. Y'all talking without me? Eric's coming to Miami, Tasha said. What? Keisha's eyes went wide. When? This afternoon. Oh, this is messy. She sat on the bed next to Ariana. What are you going to do? Everyone keeps asking me that, like I have answers. Fair point. Keisha pulled out her phone. Okay, new plan, beach day. Like we planned. We're not changing our schedule because Eric Donovan finally decided to pay attention to his wife. Keisha's right, Tasha said. You came here for you. Don't let him take that away. Ariana nodded. She didn't trust her voice. The beach was perfect, too perfect. Like the universe was mocking her with sunshine and blue water while her marriage imploded. They set up their usual spot. Ariana put on the red bikini because she'd worn it every day, and changing now felt like letting Eric win something. She lay on her towel, sunglasses on, pretending to read a book she'd brought and hadn't opened once. Her phone sat face down next to her. She'd turned off notifications, but she could still feel it there. Waiting. You want to talk about it? Tasha asked after 20 minutes of silence. Not really. Okay. But 5 minutes later, Ariana said, What if he's right? About what? About me changing. About this trip being about more than just needing a break. What if it is? Keisha rolled onto her side to look at her. What if you are changing? Is that a bad thing? I'm married. Yeah. To a man who forgot he was married until you reminded him by leaving. Ariana closed her eyes behind her sunglasses. The sun was hot on her skin. The ocean was loud. Someone nearby was playing music from a Bluetooth speaker. Reggaeton, always reggaeton in Miami. I don't want to be the woman who gives up, she said quietly. You're not giving up, Tasha said. You're standing up. There's a difference. Her phone buzzed. She picked it up despite herself. Eric, landed, at the hotel. Let me know when you want to meet. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then she put the phone down without responding. Was that him? Keisha asked. Yeah. You gonna see him? Eventually, just not yet. She needed more time, more sun, more distance. More of whatever Miami was giving her that let her breathe for the first time in years. They stayed at the beach until 3, got lunch from a food truck, fish tacos that were overpriced and worth it, walked along the shore letting the water hit their feet. Normal vacation things that felt anything but normal. Ariana's phone kept buzzing. Eric checking in. Not pushy, but persistent. I'm here when you're ready, no pressure, I love you. That last one made her chest hurt. Around 4, they headed back to the Airbnb to shower and change. Ariana stood under the water for a long time, letting it wash away the salt and sand and the feeling that everything was about to change. When she got out, she had 3 missed calls from Eric and 1 text. "I'm at the rooftop bar at the Shelbourne, if you want to come. If not, I understand." She stared at the message. Tasha knocked on the bathroom door. "You okay? He wants to meet. Do you want to go?" Ariana looked at herself in the mirror, still in a towel, hair wet, no makeup. She looked tired, looked like someone who'd been carrying something heavy for too long. "Yeah," she said, "I think I do." The Shelbourne was a 10-minute walk from their Airbnb. Ariana went alone. Tasha and Keisha had offered to come, but this felt like something she needed to do without backup. She changed into the white sundress from last night, put on minimal makeup, left her hair natural and curly from the beach. She looked like Miami Ariana, not Atlanta Ariana. Maybe that was the point. The rooftop bar was quieter than the one from last night. More intimate. Fewer people. Better view. She saw Eric immediately. He was at a table near the edge, looking out at the ocean. He'd changed clothes since the flight. Dark jeans, grey t-shirt, no shoes. His hair was messy, like he'd been running his hands through it. He looked exhausted. He looked up when she approached, stood up too fast, nearly knocked over his water glass. "Hey," he said. "Hey." They stood there for a second, not touching, just looking at each other. Ariana tried to remember the last time they'd looked at each other like this. Really looked. "You came," Eric said. "You flew to Miami." "Yeah, I did." He gestured to the chair across from him. "Will you sit?" She sat. The server came over immediately. Ariana ordered a glass of wine. Eric already had whiskey in front of him, barely touched. "You look good," he said when the server left. "Different." "Different how?" "I don't know. Lighter. Happier." He looked down at his glass. "Like you don't need me anymore." "Maybe I don't." The words came out harsher than she meant them to. But they were true, and truth didn't always come gentle. Eric flinched. "Is that what you want? To not need me?" "I want to be more than just your wife, Eric. I want to be a person." "You are a person." "Am I?" "Because most days I feel like an accessory. Something that looks good at your work dinners and keeps the house running and doesn't complain when you work 70 hours a week." Her wine arrived. She took a long sip. "That's not fair," Eric said. "Isn't it? I work hard so we can have a good life. We have a nice house and nice cars and a nice life that feels empty." She set her glass down. "When's the last time we had a real conversation? When's the last time you asked me about my day and actually listened?" Eric's jaw tightened. "I'm here now, I'm listening. Because you're scared, not because you care. That's not true." "Then why did it take me leaving for you to notice I was unhappy?" He didn't have an answer for that. The sun was setting behind them, painting the sky impossible colors. The rooftop was filling up with couples and groups of friends, everyone laughing and drinking and living lives that looked easier than theirs. "I miss you," Eric said quietly. "You can't miss someone you never see." "I see you every day." "No, you see through me. There's a difference." She watched his face change, watched the realization hit him that she was right, that she'd been invisible in her own marriage, and he hadn't noticed until she'd made herself scarce. "I don't know how to fix this," he admitted. "Neither do I." The admission hung between them. The ocean stretched out below. They sat in silence for a while, not the comfortable kind, the kind that pressed down on you, made you hyper-aware of every breath, every movement. Eric ordered another whiskey. Ariana finished her wine and didn't order a second. Around them, the rooftop filled with tourists and locals, laughter and music, people living uncomplicated Friday nights. "I booked a hotel for 3 nights, Eric said finally. "I took time off work." "You took time off?" "Yeah." He almost smiled. Almost. "Shocked me too. When's the last time you did that?" "I don't remember." He looked at her. "That should probably tell me something." Ariana twisted her ring. The habit she'd developed over the past year when things got tense. Spin the ring. Pretend everything was fine. "What do you want from me, Eric?" "I want you to come home." "I'm coming home Sunday." "No, I mean—" He stopped, started again. "I want you to want to come home. I want you to want to be with me. I'm married to you." "That's not the same thing." He was right. Being married wasn't the same as wanting to be married. She'd figured that out somewhere between Atlanta and Miami. I don't know what I want anymore, she said honestly. Do you want a divorce? The question felt too big for the rooftop bar, too big for Miami, too big for this moment where the sun was setting and her wineglass was empty and her husband was finally paying attention. I don't know. Eric's hand shook slightly as he picked up his glass. He noticed, set it back down without drinking. The guy from last night, he said. At the other rooftop. Who is he? Nobody. Ariana. An old classmate from Clark, Atlanta. We ran into him on the beach. He invited us to a work thing, that's it. That's it? Yes. He has your number. She should have been surprised that Eric knew that, should have asked how he knew. But the jealousy was so obvious it was almost pathetic. He's a friend, Eric. Does he know you're married? Of course he knows. Did you tell him you're unhappy? Ariana looked at him, really looked at him. At the man she'd married 7 years ago who'd promised to love her and cherish her, and somehow forgot to do either. Yeah, she said. I did. Eric's jaw clenched. And what did he say? He said I had to save myself, that nobody was coming to do it for me. The words landed exactly how she meant them to. Eric looked like she'd slapped him. Is that what you think? That I don't care enough to save you? I think you care about your career more than you care about me. That's not true. Then where have you been, Eric? Her voice was rising despite herself. Where have you been for the past 2 years, while I've been drowning in our perfect house with our perfect life, feeling like I don't matter? You matter. I used to. I don't know if I do anymore. A woman at the next table glanced over. Ariana lowered her voice. I've been lonely in my own marriage, she said quietly. And you didn't notice. You didn't care. Not until I posted photos of myself smiling in another state, and suddenly you're on a plane. I'm here now, because you're scared I'll leave, not because you love me. I do love you. You love the idea of me. You love having a wife who doesn't complain and looks good at work dinners and keeps everything running while you focus on your career. She wiped at her eyes, stupid tears. But you don't love me. Not really. You don't even know me anymore. That's not fair. What's my favorite color? Eric blinked. What? My favorite color. What is it? He stared at her, mouth open slightly, no answer coming. It's changed, she said. Used to be purple, now it's green, emerald green. I changed it 6 months ago, bought new throw pillows for the living room. You never noticed. Ariana, what am I working on right now? What freelance projects? Silence. What's the name of the salon I go to? Who's my stylist? I don't... Exactly. She stood up. You don't know because you don't ask. You don't ask because you don't care. And I can't keep drowning while you pretend everything's fine. Where are you going? Back to the Airbnb. I came here for a girls' trip, and that's what I'm going to finish. Eric stood too. Please don't leave, not like this. Why? So you can buy me another drink and pretend we fixed something. We didn't fix anything. You just finally noticed it was broken. She grabbed her purse, started to walk away. Eric caught her wrist, gentle, not grabbing, just touching. I know I messed up, he said, voice low, desperate. I know I've been a terrible husband, but I'm here. I flew to Miami. I took time off. I'm trying. You're trying now because you have to, not because you want to. That's not true. She pulled her wrist away. I need space, Eric. That's why I came here. You showing up doesn't change that. So, what am I supposed to do? Just sit in my hotel room while you... He stopped himself. While I what? Nothing. Say it. While you spend time with him, with Darius or whatever his name is. There it was. The jealousy that had been simmering under everything. This isn't about him, Ariana said. This is about us. About how you made me feel invisible and now you're upset someone else finally saw me. Did something happen with him? No. But you wanted it to. The accusation stung because there was truth in it. Not that she'd wanted to cheat, but she'd wanted to feel wanted. She'd wanted someone to look at her like she mattered, even if it was a stranger at a rooftop bar who barely knew her. I wanted to feel like a person, she said, not just your wife, not just the woman who manages your life and smiles at your clients and pretends she's happy when she's dying inside. Eric's face was pale in the rooftop lighting. I never wanted that. But that's what happened. She adjusted her purse strap. I'm going. You can stay in Miami if you want, but I need you to give me space. Can you do that? He nodded. Didn't look at her. Ariana walked to the elevator, pressed the button. Ariana, wait. She turned. Eric was walking toward her fast. His eyes were red. Are we? He couldn't get the words out. Are you going to leave me? The elevator dinged. The doors opened. She didn't get in. I don't know, she said honestly. What does that mean? It means I don't know if I can do this anymore, Eric. I don't know if I want to. You want a divorce? His voice cracked on the word, not a question, a realization. Did she? Standing here in this Miami hotel, watching her husband fall apart, did she actually want to end her marriage? I want to not feel like this, she said. I want to wake up and not dread coming home. I want to matter to my own husband. And if we can't have that... She trailed off. Then what? We just throw away 7 years. You threw them away, Eric. I'm just finally admitting it. He flinched like she'd hit him. The elevator doors closed behind her. Another one would come. I can't lose you. His voice was barely above a whisper. I know I don't deserve another chance. I know I've been a terrible husband, but Ariana, I don't know who I am without you. Then maybe you should have thought about that 2 years ago. I'm thinking about it now. Because you have to. Because I'm standing here about to walk away and you're terrified. She felt the tears coming, didn't stop them. But what happens in 6 months? A year? When things settle down and you go back to working 70 hours a week and I go back to being invisible? That won't happen. How do you know? Because losing you would kill me. His voice broke. Because I've spent the past 3 days in hell imagining you with someone else. Someone who deserves you. Someone who sees you the way I should have been seeing you all along. Ariana wiped her face. I need time, Eric. I need to think about whether this is fixable or if we're just prolonging the inevitable. How much time? I don't know. Don't say divorce. He stepped closer, desperate. Please, say you're angry. Say you hate me. Say whatever you want, but don't say divorce. She looked at him, really looked at him. At the man she'd married, who'd somehow become a stranger. At the husband who'd finally woken up, but maybe too late. I need you to give me space, she said quietly. Can you do that? He nodded. Looked like he might throw up. Ariana pressed the elevator button again. This time when it came, she got in, looked back one more time. Eric was standing there, shoulders hunched, face in his hands. He looked broken, completely broken. The sight of him like that should have made her feel something. Vindication, maybe. Or satisfaction. But all she felt was tired. The doors closed. The walk back to the Airbnb took 15 minutes. Ariana did it in 10, walking fast, eyes burning, breathing hard. Tasha and Keisha were on the couch when she walked in, took one look at her and didn't ask questions. Just made space between them. Ariana sat. Tasha put an arm around her shoulders. Keisha grabbed her hand. You okay? Tasha asked after a minute. No. You want to talk about it? Not yet. Okay. They sat like that for a while. The AC hummed. Outside, people were starting their Friday night. Inside, Ariana was trying to figure out if her marriage was ending or just changing into something unrecognizable. Her phone buzzed. She looked. Eric, I'm sorry. For everything. I love you. She put the phone face down on the coffee table. He texted? Keisha asked. Yeah. What did he say? That he's sorry, that he loves me. Do you believe him? Ariana thought about it. About Eric on that rooftop looking broken. About the years of being taken for granted. About the moment she'd told him her favorite color, and he'd had no answer. I don't know, she said. I think he loves the idea of me. I don't know if he loves me. What are you going to do? Tasha asked. Finish my vacation, go home, figure it out from there. It wasn't a plan. It was barely a thought. But it was all she had. Keisha squeezed her hand. Whatever you decide, we got you. I know. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Darius. Hey, saw your location on IG. You good? You seemed off at the bar last night. She stared at the message. Thought about how easy it would be to text him back, to have someone uncomplicated in her life. Someone who asked how she was and actually cared about the answer. But that wasn't fair to Darius, and it wasn't fair to herself. She typed back, I'm okay. Thanks for checking. Going through some stuff with my husband. 3 dots appeared. Then, I get it. If you need to talk, I'm around. No pressure. Thanks. She put the phone away for real this time. Was that Eric again? Tasha asked. No, Darius. Keisha sat up. What did he want? Just checking on me. That's sweet. Yeah. But sweet wasn't what she needed right now. She needed clarity. Needed to figure out if the marriage she'd been holding on to was worth saving, or if she'd just been scared to let go. I'm tired, she said. You want us to go out? Tasha asked. Get your mind off things? No. I just want to sleep. They let her go without arguing. Ariana went to her room, changed into pajamas, got in bed, looked at her phone one more time. Eric had texted again. I'm at the hotel if you change your mind. Room 847, I'll be up. She almost texted back, almost told him to come over, almost tried to fix this tonight instead of letting it breathe. But maybe some things needed space before they could heal, or maybe they needed space to finish dying. She turned off her phone. The room was dark except for the light coming under the door. Ariana didn't sleep. She lay in bed watching the ceiling, listening to the sounds of Miami outside her window, car horns, music from somewhere down the street, people laughing as they passed by. The world kept moving while hers felt stuck. Around 3 a.m., she gave up, got out of bed, walked to the balcony. The city was quieter now, but still alive, still breathing. Her phone was on the nightstand where she'd left it, turned off. She went back inside, powered it on, watched the notifications flood in. Eric had texted twice more after she'd ignored him. I'm not giving up on us. I know you need space, but I'm here. I'll be here as long as it takes. There were other messages too. Her mom asking how Miami was, a work email about a potential freelance project, Darius saying goodnight and hoping she was okay. She opened Eric's messages, read them again, then put the phone down and walked back to the balcony. The thing about marriage that nobody tells you, it's not the big moments that break you. It's not the fights or the betrayals or the obvious things. It's the accumulation of small absences, the dinners eaten alone, the conversations that never happen, the way someone stops seeing you even though you're standing right in front of them. Eric had stopped seeing her. Maybe not all at once, but slowly over time until she'd become background noise in his life, something familiar and therefore ignorable. And now he was here in Miami trying to fix it. But could you fix something after you'd let it break for so long? Her phone buzzed. She looked down. Eric, are you awake? She stared at the message. Typed, yeah. 3 dots appeared immediately. Can I see you? I know it's late or early, but I can't sleep and Can I just see you? She should say no. Should hold firm on the boundaries she'd set. But something in his text felt different. Desperate, yes, but also real. Where? The beach. I'm already here. Couldn't stay in that hotel room anymore. She looked down at her pajamas, shorts, and an old Clark Atlanta t-shirt. Good enough. Give me 15 minutes. She grabbed her keys, left a note for Tasha and Keisha in case they woke up. Walked out into the Miami night that was really early morning. The beach was empty except for a few stragglers, couples finishing dates, people who couldn't sleep, and Eric sitting in the sand near the water, still in the clothes from earlier. He heard her footsteps, turned around, stood up. You came, he said. You said you couldn't sleep. Yeah. He looked exhausted. Neither could you. No. They stood there, 3 feet apart, the ocean behind them. The moon was huge and bright, turning everything silver. I've been thinking, Eric said, about what you said, about your favorite color, about how I don't know you anymore. Eric, no, let me finish, please. He ran a hand through his hair. You're right. I don't know your favorite color. I don't know what you're working on. I don't know. His voice cracked. I don't know when you stopped being happy, and that kills me. Ariana wrapped her arms around herself. The ocean breeze was cold. I got lost, Eric continued. In the work, in the pressure, in trying to build something. And I thought if I could just make enough money, get the promotion, close the next deal, then we'd be happy. Then everything would be perfect. But it wasn't. No, it wasn't, because I was so focused on building a life that I forgot to live it. He stepped closer. I forgot about you, about us. And I'm so sorry, Ariana. I'm so sorry I made you feel invisible when you're the most visible thing in my life. She felt the tears coming, tried to stop them, couldn't. I don't know if sorry is enough, she said. I know it's not, but I'm here. I'm standing on a beach at 3 a.m, begging my wife to give me another chance. He moved closer still, close enough that she could see he'd been crying too. Tell me what to do, tell me how to fix this. I don't know if you can. Then let me try, please. Let me spend the rest of our time in Miami showing you that I see you, that I love you, the real you, not the idea of you. Eric, what's your favorite food right now? She blinked. What? Your favorite food? What is it? Why are you asking that? Because I don't know and I should, so tell me, what's your favorite food? Pho, she said quietly. There's a place near Cascade. I go there when you're working late. When did you start liking pho? 2 years ago. He nodded, processing. What else? What else don't I know? Eric, this isn't... What else? She sighed. I want to go back to work. Real work, not freelancing. I want my own clients, my own projects. I want to matter outside of being your wife. Okay. What? Okay, do it. Start your business again. I'll support you, whatever you need. You said that before. I know, and I didn't follow through, but I'm here now and I'm telling you, do it. I'll take fewer clients, I'll work less, I'll be home more, whatever it takes. Ariana wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him. But words were easy at 3 a.m. on a beach in Miami. Words were easy when you were scared of losing something. How do I know you mean it? She asked. How do I know this isn't just you panicking and that in 3 months we'll be right back where we started? You don't. His voice was raw. You don't know. I can't prove it to you with words. I can only show you, day by day, choice by choice. He reached for her hand. Slow, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. I love you, he said. Not the version of you that I want you to be. Not the perfect wife who makes my life easy. I love you, Ariana Brooks, the woman who stress eats ice cream at midnight, who rewatches the same shows when she's anxious, who hums when she's working on a design she likes, who deserves so much better than what I've been giving her. The tears were falling now, full on. She didn't bother wiping them away. I've been so lonely, she whispered. I know, and that's on me, all of it. He pulled her closer. She let him. But I'm here now, and I know I can't fix 2 years of loneliness with one conversation. But please, please give me the chance to try. She pulled back, put space between them. No. Eric's face fell. What? You don't get to do this. Her voice was stronger now. You don't get to show up in Miami with pretty words and expect me to forgive you because you finally noticed what you've been missing. Ariana, I almost gave up on us tonight, Eric. When I said divorce, I meant it. I've been thinking about it for months, lying next to you every night wondering if this is it, if this is all my life is going to be. I'll change. Everyone says they'll change. She was crying now, angry tears. You think you're the first man to beg his wife to stay, to promise he'll work less, be home more, try harder? But 6 months from now, when there's a big client or a deadline or another emergency, what happens then? Eric looked like she'd slapped him. I mean it. So did you when you promised to take me on vacation after the promotion. So did you when you said we'd start trying for a baby. So did you when you said our anniversary would be special. She wiped her face roughly. You mean it in the moment. But then life happens and work comes first and I disappear again. That won't happen. How do you know? Because I can't lose you. His voice broke. Because the thought of you with someone else, with Darius or anyone, it's killing me. Because I've realized what an idiot I've been and I can't go back to that man. I won't. Ariana looked at him, really looked at him, saw the desperation, the fear. The love that had always been there but buried under work and stress and neglect. "I talked to Darius tonight," she said quietly. Eric went pale. "What?" "After I left you at the rooftop, he texted me, asked if I was okay. Did you?" "No, but I wanted to." She let that land. For a second, I wanted to text him back and say yes. "Let's get coffee tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Because at least he sees me, at least he's interested." "Ariana, but I didn't. You know why?" She stepped closer. "Because I'm not that person. Because even when my marriage is falling apart and some perfect guy is offering me attention, I can't just throw away 7 years, even when maybe I should." Eric's eyes were wet. "I don't deserve you." "No, you don't." She looked out at the ocean. The sun was starting to rise, painting the sky in impossible colors. "But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is whether you're willing to earn me back." "I am. I'll do whatever it takes. And couples therapy? Done. Actually being home for dinner. Not just physically there, but mentally present. Yes. Supporting my business. Not just saying it, but meaning it. Taking my work as seriously as you take yours." "Absolutely." She looked up at him, at the man she'd married, at the face she'd fallen in love with at 21, at the person who'd somehow become a stranger and was now trying desperately to find his way back. "I'm scared," she said. "Of what?" "That you'll change for a month and then go back to who you were, that I'll let myself hope and then—" She couldn't finish. "I'm scared too," Eric said. "I'm terrified that I've broken this beyond repair. But, Ariana, I would rather spend the rest of my life trying to fix it than give up without fighting." The ocean was loud behind them. The sky was starting to lighten, that pre-dawn blue that meant morning was coming. "I need you to know something," Ariana said. "If we do this, if we try again, I need you to understand that I'm different now. Miami changed me, not because of some guy or some photos, but because I remembered what it felt like to breathe. And I can't go back to suffocating. I don't want you to. I'm going to start my business again. I'm going to have my own life, my own identity outside of being your wife. Good. I'm going to need space sometimes. I'm going to need girls' trips and time with my friends and—" "Ariana," he cupped her face with both hands. "I don't want to trap you. I want to love you. And if loving you means giving you space to be yourself, then that's what I'll do." She searched his face for the lie, for the catch, for the moment when he'd take it all back. She didn't find it. "Okay," she said quietly. "Okay? Okay, we can try." She paused. "But Eric, I need you to understand something. This isn't me saying everything's fine. This isn't me forgiving you. This is me saying I'll give you a chance to prove you've changed. One chance. That's all I'm asking for. And if you go back to who you were," her voice was firm, "if in 6 months I'm sitting at home alone while you're in your office, I'm done. No more chances, no more fighting for us. I'll walk away and I won't look back." He nodded. The fear in his eyes was real. "I understand." "I'm serious, Eric. I know you are. And I'm telling you—" He took her hands. "I'm not going back to that man. I can't, because now I know what it feels like to almost lose you, and I never want to feel that again." The relief on his face was so intense it was almost painful to watch. He pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. She felt him shaking. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you." They stood like that for a long time, holding each other on an empty beach while the sun started to rise. While Miami woke up around them. While their marriage got a second chance, it might not have deserved but was getting anyway. But even as Ariana held him, even as she let herself hope, a small voice in the back of her head whispered, "What if he doesn't change? What if this is just temporary?" She pushed the voice away. For now. When they finally pulled apart, Eric was smiling. Actually smiling. Not the polite smile he gave clients, or the tired smile he gave her over dinner. A real one. "Can I take you to breakfast?" he asked. "It's 4:30 in the morning." "So, Miami's awake, and I want to spend time with my wife. Your wife who's wearing pajamas. My wife who's beautiful in anything." She almost rolled her eyes. Almost. But something about the way he said it made her believe he meant it. "There's a diner on Collins, she said. "They're open 24 hours. "Perfect." They walked up the beach together, hand in hand, not fixed, not healed, but trying. And maybe trying was enough for now. The sun was coming up over the ocean. 6 months later. Ariana stood in the doorway of her new office space in Midtown, coffee in one hand, phone in the other, trying to decide if the logo mock-up on her laptop screen was perfect or just good enough. Perfect, she decided. It had to be perfect. This was her first major client since reopening Brooks Design Studio 3 months ago, and she wasn't about to half-ass it. The office was small, just one room in a shared workspace on Peachtree, the kind of place where freelancers and startups rented desks by the month, but it was hers. Her name on the directory downstairs, her desk by the window. Her business cards in a holder that Tasha had bought her as a "You're Back, Bitch" gift. Her phone buzzed. Eric. "How's the pitch going?" She smiled. 6 months ago, he wouldn't have known she had a pitch today. Wouldn't have known she was working on anything at all. "Good. Nervous. The logo's almost done. You're going to kill it. Call me after." "Will do." She set her phone down and got back to work. Added a shadow here. Adjusted the kerning there. Small details that most people wouldn't notice, but she would. That's what made the difference between good design and great design. The pitch was at 2. She had 4 hours. The client meeting went better than expected. A black-owned restaurant chain expanding from 2 locations to 5 needed a complete rebrand. Logo, menus, website, social media templates. The kind of project that would have scared her a year ago. Now it just made her excited. The owner, a woman named Patricia, who reminded Ariana of her mother, looked at the mock-ups and smiled that smile that meant you'd nailed it. "When can you start?" Patricia asked. "Whenever you're ready." "I'm ready now." They shook hands. Ariana left the restaurant with a signed contract and a deposit that would cover her office rent for 6 months. Texted Eric immediately. "Got it. Knew you would. Dinner tonight to celebrate? You cooking?" "I'm cooking." That was new too. Eric in the kitchen, actually using the appliances they'd bought 3 years ago and never touched. He wasn't great at it yet. Last week he'd burned salmon so badly the smoke alarm went off twice. But he was trying. And the trying mattered more than the outcome. "I'll bring wine." She drove back to the office to pack up her laptop, say goodbye to the other people in the shared space. There was a photographer she'd gotten coffee with a few times, a guy building some app she didn't understand, a woman who did PR for non-profits, and always smelled like peppermint tea. They'd become something like friends, the kind of work friends who asked about your weekend and meant it. Her phone rang as she was walking to her car. "Keisha." "Did you get it?" "I got it." Keisha screamed so loud Ariana had to pull the phone away from her ear. "I knew it. I told Tasha you'd get it. She owes me $20. "Y'all were betting on me?" "With confidence, that's different." She could hear the smile in Keisha's voice. "We're proud of you, girl. For real." "Thanks." Ariana unlocked her car, got in. The leather was hot from sitting in the sun all afternoon. "How's the salon?" "Busy. I got 3 appointments back-to-back this afternoon, including Shanice, who always wants to argue about the price." She sighed dramatically. "But it's good. Life is good." They talked for a few more minutes while Ariana drove, making plans for brunch that weekend, complaining about Atlanta traffic, normal things that felt precious because they were normal. When she hung up, she realized she was smiling. Not the fake smile she'd worn for 2 years. A real one. Eric was in the kitchen when she got home, apron on, something that smelled amazing on the stove, jazz playing from the speaker. He'd changed out of his work clothes into jeans and a t-shirt. "Hey," he said when he heard her come in. Came over to kiss her, not a peck, a real kiss, the kind that used to happen all the time and then stopped, and now happened again. "Hey yourself. What are you making?" Attempting to make big difference. He went back to the stove. "Shrimp pasta, following a recipe from that cooking channel you like." "You're watching cooking shows now." "I'm trying to keep my wife fed with something other than takeout." She leaned against the counter, watched him cook. He was focused, measuring things carefully, checking the recipe on his phone every 30 seconds. It was endearing. The Eric from a year ago would have just ordered from the Italian place and called it a night. "How'd the meeting go?" he asked, stirring something. Really good. She loved the designs. Signed the contract right there. That's incredible. He set down the spoon, came over to hug her properly. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, you're killing it. 3 months and you already have more clients than you know what to do with. It was true. Word had spread fast. The girl from Clark, Atlanta, who'd taken a few years off and came back better. Patricia was her 5th client. She had 3 more consultations scheduled for next week. It feels good, she admitted, being busy with my own thing. Mattering outside of... She stopped. Outside of being my wife. Eric finished. His voice was gentle. You can say it. I know. I was going to say outside of the house, but yeah, that too. He kissed her forehead. I'm glad you're doing this. Really. Even when it means we both have crazy schedules and have to plan our dinners a week in advance. That was another change. They had a shared calendar now, color-coded, blue for his work obligations, green for hers, purple for things they did together. It seemed excessive at first, but it worked. No more missed dinners, no more assumptions. The pasta's going to burn, she said. Shit. He went back to the stove. Saved it just in time. They ate on the back patio, the one they'd renovated in September. String lights Eric had hung himself after watching 3 YouTube tutorials. The table they'd picked out together from a store in Virginia Highland. Plants that Ariana was slowly learning how to keep alive. Tasha texted me, Eric said between bites, about Thanksgiving. What about it? She wants to know if we're doing Miami again. Ariana smiled. They'd gone back in August for Tasha's birthday. Different Airbnb, same beaches, same energy. But this time Eric had come with her, had taken a full week off work, had worn the terrible floral shirt she'd bought him, and hadn't complained once. Maybe, she said, or we could do something different. Charleston, Savannah, whatever you want. I'm just the +1. She laughed. You're more than a +1. Am I, though? He was grinning. I'm pretty sure Keisha only tolerates me because I'm attached to you. Keisha loves you. Keisha thinks I'm on probation. You are. Fair. They cleaned up together after dinner. Loaded the dishwasher, wiped down the counters, put away leftovers. Small domestic things that used to feel like chores and now felt like partnership. Later, they ended up on the couch, some show playing that neither of them were really watching. Ariana's feet in Eric's lap, his hand absently rubbing her ankle. Can I tell you something? He said during a commercial. Sure. I'm happy. He looked at her. Like, genuinely happy. I know that sounds simple, but I don't think I've been happy, really happy, in years. And now I am. Because of the marriage counseling? They'd been going every other week since September. Dr. Rahman in Buckhead, who didn't let them get away with anything. Partly, but mostly because of you. Because you didn't give up on me even when I gave you every reason to. I almost did. I know. I was there. He squeezed her foot. But you didn't. And I'm grateful. Every single day. Ariana shifted, moved closer to him, rested her head on his shoulder. I'm happy too, she said quietly. Scared sometimes. Like maybe it won't last. But happy. It'll last. His voice was certain. I'm not going back to who I was. I can't. I won't. She wanted to believe him. Most days she did. But there was still that small voice in the back of her head that remembered the loneliness, the invisibility, the years of being taken for granted. Dr. Rahman said the voice would fade with time, with consistent action, with proof that the change was real and permanent. 6 months wasn't permanent yet, but it was a start. That night, after they'd gone to bed, Ariana couldn't sleep. Not because she was anxious, just because her mind was too full. The client she'd landed, the business she was building, the marriage she was saving. She got up, went to the kitchen for water, stopped in the doorway. Eric had left her a note on the counter, written on the back of a grocery receipt in his messy handwriting. Proud of you. Always. She picked it up, held it for a long time. Then she opened the drawer where she kept things. Cards, photos, memories. Found the note from 6 months ago, the one from when she'd left for Miami. Have a great trip. Same handwriting, different energy, Different man, maybe, or the same man remembering how to be human. She put both notes in the drawer, closed it, went back to bed. Eric was asleep. One arm stretched across her side like he was making sure she was still there. She lay down carefully. His arm tightened around her automatically. "You okay?" he mumbled, half asleep. "Yeah, I'm okay." "Good." He pulled her closer. "Love you. Love you too." He was asleep again within seconds. Ariana lay there, listening to him breathe, feeling the weight of his arm, the warmth of his body. 6 months ago she would have pulled away, would have felt trapped, would have spent the night staring at the ceiling, wondering how much longer she could do this. Now she just felt grateful. Grateful for Miami, for Tasha and Keisha, who'd refused to let her settle, for Eric showing up when it mattered, for the fight on the beach that had broken something open, for the counseling and the shared calendar and the terrible burnt salmon. Grateful for the woman she'd become when she'd given herself permission to breathe. Marriage wasn't fixed, probably never would be, but it was better, different, real in a way it hadn't been in years, and real was enough. Outside, a car drove by. The AC hummed, the house settled. Ariana closed her eyes. Tomorrow she'd wake up and work on Patricia's rebrand. She'd have lunch with the photographer from her office space. She'd call her mom and tell her about the client. She'd come home and Eric would ask about her day and actually listen to the answer. Small things, normal things, the building blocks of a life that felt lived instead of just survived. She fell asleep smiling. The end. Sometimes love isn't about the grand gestures. It's about showing up. It's about seeing the person you chose when it would be easier to look away. It's about choosing them again, every single day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Ariana learned she had to save herself before anyone could save her. Eric learned that success means nothing if you're alone in it. Together, they learned that marriage isn't about perfection. It's about effort, about trying, about refusing to give up even when giving up would be easier. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. A note on the counter. A question asked and answered. A hand reaching across the bed in the dark to make sure you're still there. Sometimes that's enough. What did you think of Ariana and Eric's story? Do you believe people can really change? Or is some damage too deep to repair? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts.